G'day bond knitters. This video tutorial demonstrates how to join any two pieces of knitted fabric using any flatbed knitting machine. In a nutshell, you hook up panel A with the right side facing you, add a crochet cast on, hook up panel B with the wrong side facing you, and manually knit the pieces together, ending with the very simple cast off. Here's an example of the join used on the shoulder seam. If you use the same color as your main knitting, it's practically invisible. Outlined in red is the additional crochet cast on to help disguise the join. Here's another example where I used a contrasting color to add some interest to the finished garment. I recently made a round table runner on the LK150 to match the seat covers I'd made a while ago on the bond knitting machine. While finishing the table runner, I considered a few ways to do the border but finally chose to go with making tassels. Let's start the tutorial. Start by working out how many needles you require. Do this by aligning your fabric against the needles and then stretching it beyond its width by a few needles. Once you've settled on how many needles you need, it's time to add your first panel to the knitting machine. Starting with the right side facing you, hook up the left and right edge. Then the middle and the middle of the middle, and keep going until the entire edge is on the knitting machine. Push all of the work behind the latches. Now, add a crochet cast on starting from the right of your panel to the left. In this example, I'm using 2 strands and a contrasting color. For an invisible join, use 1 strand and the same color as your knitting. Push the crochet cast on behind the latches. Add your second panel with the wrong side facing you in the same manner you added the first panel. Once you've done this, push all of the work behind the latches. If you have any strands of yarn that need weaving in, now is the perfect time to weave them over and under the needles, so that they get caught in the cast off. Ensure all yarn ends and panels are pushed behind the latches. Add yarn to the needle's hooks and carefully close the latches. With the yarn you've just added, make sure the short end is on the right and the long end is on the left. Starting from the right, maneuver the needles into work position while ensuring that the latches remain closed and free of interference. Manually push the needles back so that it only just pops through the other side. The smaller the stitch you make, the better. Fasten the short strand with a clip. Hold the opposite side of the strand and keep manually knitting. Place the manually knitted row behind the latches. Thread yarn through a wool needle. I like to use a 6-inch needle to bind off. Ensure your needle is inserted in the loops you've made. Once your needle reaches capacity, draw the yarn through. When all of the stitches have been safely captured, ensure that the tension is not too tight and that there's no pucking in the fabric. I hope you find this technique useful in joining your knitting. Until next time.